Today, we have a story about the art of illustration and also the art of memoir. Judy Goffman Cutler is recapturing her remarkable life's journey by sifting through more than 80 years of memories. Cutler was once a financially struggling teacher. Today, she lives and works at this Gilded Age mansion in Newport, where she created the National Museum of American Illustration. But Judy would be the first to tell you she is not to the Manor Born.
For years, family, friends, and visitors to the museum had told me I should write a book. I decided to write this memoir, how a young mother, a suburban housewife from Blue Bell, Pennsylvania, found her career and changed her family's destiny.
Terrific, if I say so myself.
When I founded the National Museum of American Illustration, I thought of this house as a frame, maybe the ultimate frame for the art I had spent a lifetime collecting. Vernon Court was built during the Gilded Age for a young widow, Anna Van Ness Gambrel. It's hard to believe this place was built as a summer cottage for only 2 people, Anna and her son. My grandparents landed at Ellis Island around the same time Mrs. Gambrel was building Vernon Court. I've often wondered what Jacob and Esther would make of this place. Not in their wildest dreams could they have imagined living in such a palace. My childhood was pure Norman Rockwell. My dad was a contractor. He built our first home, a ranch house in Westville. It was a family project. My mom did the books plus everything else. After a long day's work, he would pack us up for a group activity, usually sports, basketball, baseball, golf, you name it. I loved them all. Oh, this is my good chapter. Here we go. Dear Dee. In high school, I discovered boys. One particular caught my eye, Larry Cutler. He wasn't the only boy in the picture. My dance card was always full, but my diary was also full of Larry. Did I love him? Did I hate him? Do I even like him? I wrote it all down. Larry and I both ended up at Penn, but we went our separate ways. It was there Alan Goffman swept me off my feet. On graduation day, he asked my father for my hand. That September, we were married. I can't believe I did it so fast. What the hell was I thinking? Oh my God. I mean, we didn't know each other at all. It wasn't happily ever after. Like many young couples, we struggled to find ourselves. I was teaching 8th graders. Alan tried a few different careers. None of them took. It was so much fun in college. It was not fun anymore, I'll tell you that. Money was tight. I was the breadwinner, making $4,000 a year. By the time Jennifer was born in 1966, we ended up moving in with his parents. When Andrew arrived in '68, we only had 21 cents in our bank account. I had to be resourceful. I sewed clothes for Jennifer. Any clothes I bought had to be unisex so I could hand them down to Andrew.
So there was one shirt that I remember, and it was a Western shirt. It had snaps down the front, and I wore it for one of my school photos. And then, a couple years later, my brother is in that same shirt in one of his school photos.
We used to go to flea markets too. And that's how I found my life's work. Alan's mother suggested I look in their basement to see if there's anything I could use in our new home. What I found stored away with the old furniture surprised me. A framed Art Deco print of Casanova. The artist's name was Louis Eichhardt. So I started hunting for more Eichhardts. And I managed to find quite a few. One day, I spotted an ad for an Eichhardt exhibition. I called up the organizer, who promptly offered me $10,000 to buy my whole collection. That was the eureka moment that made me want to become an art dealer. Erase that, gotta fix that. After some trial and error, I decided to focus on American illustrators, specifically art created to be reproduced for books, magazines, and posters during the Golden Age of American illustration. Some of these artists were household names in their day, but their work fell out of favor. The advent of photography put many of them out of a job. Museum curators and auction houses dismissed their work as disposable, tainted by commerce. Their unpopularity was my opportunity.
She really saved a lot of these paintings from being destroyed because the illustrators were always looked down on. She found these paintings in people's basements and attics. They had cobwebs and mold on them.
When I began to focus on American illustration, the art dealers never took me seriously at all. I was a housewife from a suburban farmland outside of Philadelphia called Bluebell. So I focused on the fact that it was art, and I campaigned and I showed them and proved to everybody that it was fine art, that they were talented artists first and then illustrators. And at the end of the day, it was illustrators who could earn a living.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
She was doing mom things, and then she just started putting ads in the paper and just calling people, and then she needed a desk, so she moved to the basement and she set up an office in the basement.
My first Rockwell sale I closed in my kitchen. It was a big moment for me. My clients agreed to buy 2 Rockwells for $50,000. I hung up and started jumping up and down with happiness. The kids had never seen me behave like that.
And I started thinking, like, what's going on here?
And they also said I was screaming hysterically.
I found out after she calmed down 5 or 10 minutes later that she sold her first Rockwell and made more money from that sale than she made all year as a teacher.
She opened a gallery in New York. Then she started doing art exhibitions, traveling. First they were around this country, then they were international art exhibitions.
In Japan, there was a traffic jam in front of April Fools, everyone pressing in to try and decode all of Rockwell's gags.
Cortina D'Ampezzo. Why? This is the night before the premiere, the first inaugural exhibition of Norman Rockwell in Europe.
In Italy, our corporate sponsor threatened to hold my paintings hostage unless I gave him a Rockwell. I had to convince the Prime Minister of Italy to come to my rescue.
We have with us tonight as our guest, one of the rare guests we have on our show, Judy Goffman, who is the premier dealer in the art of the illustrator.
She started being interviewed more for TV shows, then she had the exhibitions, then she's like figuring out how to set up a museum, and now then there's a museum.
Now we're on Bellevue Avenue. The first time I saw Vernon Court, I knew it was the perfect place to showcase my paintings. But it took some convincing for Newporters to allow another museum on Bellevue Avenue. I had to have it, and I thought that, I knew it was the right place. I knew it was the right place. I just knew. I mean, the pool convinced me, but the building was the first thing.
It was so overwhelming just to walk in and just see the rooms and the sizes. It took a while to get used to the sizes of the rooms.
The house needed a lot of work, but I was willing to take that on. My hope is that visitors here feel like they're stepping into the world that inspired these pictures. I felt like I was bringing my paintings home. As a live-work space, it has challenges, but it's a fairy tale too. My daughter, she was married in the garden. My grandchildren grew up struggling to find a decent Wi-Fi signal, and I swim laps in the pool every day, weather permitting. My grandparents might feel out of place here, but my paintings would certainly be familiar to them. They'd recognize these images from books and magazines. On every wall, they'd see stories of their time.
She's really put together a great collection of her favorite paintings that she wants to share. It's also part of her legacy. She spent the first half trying to collect and buy and sell, and now she wants to leave something back for people to look at and enjoy and appreciate. And this is her gift to all of us.
Wow, Judy Eve Alpert. He's come a long way.
Fun footnote to this story. Remember the omnipresent Larry of Judy's schoolgirl diary? They reunited decades later, and they've been together for more than 30 years.
If you want to know what's going on,